Hello, and welcome to this week's Glasstire Top 5. It is the week of February 1st, right? 2018. I'm Christina Rees.
I'm Neil Fauerso.
And we are in Kyle, Texas. We're at the Kyle Flea Market in a gallery inside the Kyle Flea Market. It's called Dirty Dark Place. And we've already talked about this. We've done some news about it. And it was on a top 5, but we wanted to come see it. And now we're here.
Kyle Flea Market feels like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, except if it was about divorce. Like, it's just like stuff for divorced men to either start a new stall or like get themselves geared up for the next phase. Like, you can get knives, you can get sunglasses, you can get VHS tapes. Got it all in the Kyle Flea Market.
So number 5 this week is Mary Ellen Butte. It's a retrospective of her experimental films at the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. A lot of these were made like in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. She did animations. She did color animations back in the day to music. And you can see some of these things on YouTube, but this is a proper retrospective. You can go see it on a big screen.
That sounds great. If I lived in Houston, I would 100% do that. I would describe myself as pro experimental animation generally. You know, there's the thing they said that when the Dadaists saw like the first like Disney cartoon Steamboat Willie, they were just like, incredible. Like, they loved it. Like, it was the best.
Number 4 this week is paintings by George W. Bush in Midland at the Museum of the Southwest. This originally was at, of course, his presidential center at SMU first, and now it's in Midland. We ran a review of it recently. I think the reviewer, Rich Lopez, asked a very good question when he said, is this therapy?
Yeah, well, it's therapy for him. That's what's clear, is that essentially it's therapy for George W. Bush, and that's what's grotesque about it, is that, I mean, and it's all made worse by that the paintings are somewhat competent. They're not, like, ridiculous. It's not just, like, total trash where it's like, oh, this is an old man, like, drawing, like, a Beetle Bailey comic strip or something like that. They're kind of good. Yeah. But that makes them sort of more infuriating to me because it's like, okay, so you started this war and you sent a bunch of people in for what was like essentially a personal vendetta, and then a lot of these people died or came back like maimed physically and emotionally, and now you're painting these like sort of like, you know, noble paintings of them. It's like, who is that for? Like, is that for them? Like, is it for the guy who, you know, has like really bad PTSD, who works at Lowe's, who you painted? Like, does that make his life better? No, it's like, it's for this like sort of guilty Caesar that feels some sads and now is like...
Does he feel sads?
He probably...
There's a lot of hubris in this show. I mean, what leader of the free world really displays their own artwork at this level? This is the second or third solo exhibition of his work, by the way. He's been going after it. And, you know, we put it on the list because it's, I mean, more as a spectacle. It's just an interesting phenomenon that's happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like... It's true. It's very authoritarian to have like a former president display their artwork or whatever. What is it going to build towards? I mean, is Trump going to have like a one-man show, sort of like the way Jake LaMotta did in Phoenix?
He already is a one-man show. He's a constant one-man show.
It's the worst one-man show of all time, and it never ends.
That seems to be how it feels, absolutely. On a brighter note, in far west Texas, through this week is at the El Paso Museum of Art. It's a show that just opened a week or two ago. It's called Ethics, Excess, and Extinction. It's basically about humankind's very uncomfortable relationship with animals and our complicity or the source of the extinction. I don't have a stomach for this kind of thing, although the press release is very clear that there's a lot of humor in the show as well, which I guess helps kind of swallow that very, very bitter pill. But it's about poaching and exploitation and factory farming and the whole 9 yards. So I salute the noble intention of having the show.
It's like our study recently came out in Germany that there's been a 75% insect biomass reduction in the country over the last decade, which is, as far as I understand it, not good at all.
We can't survive that.
No.
I like it that El Paso is doing this show.
Yeah, it's cool that El Paso is doing this show.
So
El Paso maybe could survive it, but
yeah, maybe we should move there.
Yeah.
In our conversations about where to go, maybe El Paso is the place to go.
There's definitely some places in the world that you go to and you're like, these people are ready. Like El Paso is one. When I went to Mongolia, that felt like another one. There's like spots in the world where it's like they're gonna be okay. Like, and then you go to like other places like Austin or something. You're like,
no,
nope.
So number 2 this week is at the Louise Hopkins Underwood Center for the Arts in Lubbock, Texas. This is the first Friday. It is called Big Picture. It was curated by Brian Wheeler. It is a big group show of photographs. And so some of our favorites are in there. Jack Massing's in it, Mark Minjavar, who I adore. Rachel Cox has got some photographs. It's just going to be a good, nice, juicy photo show, essentially. In the press release, they use the word
manipulability.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's which I'm not sure is a real word.
How did you say it?
What is it? Manipulability.
Manipulability.
I think no, it's not a word, but that's the fun thing of like art press releases is that you can kind of make up your own word, and you can add ability to almost anything, and people will catch you. So.
Man cave ability.
Yeah, man cave ability. Yeah,
okay.
This is some real man cave ability in here.
Yeah. So number one is at Aaron Cluley's gallery in Dallas. It's Gary Goldberg. The show is called Finding the Universe in Oaxaca.
Which is right up my alley. That sounds great. I love Oaxaca. Universe is a buzzword for me, so I'm in. The last time I was in Oaxaca.
I think you use it some in your writing.
Sometimes, just like 2 or 3 times an article, but yeah, last time I was in Oaxaca, I bought like 3 skeleton-related pieces of art, so I highly recommend it as a place, and aesthetically it's very interesting. It's also probably the best food city I've ever been to.
Oh. So Gary Goldberg is a photographer. He lives and works in Wichita Falls. He took pictures of some wonderful things in Oaxaca, distilled the photographs, and took details from the photographs, and gave it over to this women's collective, amazing women's collective in Oaxaca that does big felted wool. So it's basically... These are big tapestries that are details from his photographs that he did in collaboration with this women's collective. They're beautiful. I'm not a textiles person. I walked into the show and I was very, very taken with it. If anything, part of it was just the smell of wool has its own thing, just like the smell of tar and feathers has its own thing. But they're really, really nice. The texture is great. The colors are gorgeous, insanely great, and they're really good as a group. I'd seen a couple of them isolated at the Texas Biennial, and but I really like them as a kind of almost an immersive experience. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I am a textiles person. I would love to see the show.
Well, if you come up to Dallas, you got a few more weeks. But yeah, that's our number one pick this week. If you're out and about, go see Smart.
Get at it.